Hello and welcome to day 6 of the Paralympic Games at Paris 2024. This next final, the women's 50-metre rifle, 3 positions, SH1 classification. The SH1 classification is designated for athletes with lower limb impairment. So some of our athletes will be in wheelchairs. I know Anna Benson uses a stool, as does Marina Shetnik, and also Natasha Hiltrop.
The chief range officer is Christian Bailey of France.
So women's 50-metre rifle, 3 positions final in the SH1 classification.
Take your position.
Now there's some real names in this final. Not only Avani Lakhara, who's the first Indian woman to claim 2 Paralympic medals. Now there's also the world record holder, Lee Yun-ri of Republic of Korea. We've got the Paralympic record holder, Zhang Chuping, and also the current para-champion as well. So not only the Paralympic record holder also comes into this with the gold from Tokyo. And that's just some of the athletes in this final. The rest, well, certainly there's some achievements and medals around, but more on that in just a second. My name is Rory McAllister. I'll be your commentator. Alongside me is Beijing Olympian and modern pentathlete Heather Fell.
Oh, we've got a strong contingent in the house representing India. I'll be hoping to see a medal go 2 steps further up the podium. That bronze from Avani Lakhara only 3 years ago. After that, as a result of that performance, she was the flag bearer at the closing ceremony. In actual fact, we have 2 flag bearers from the closing ceremony in this final. It was Natasha Hiltrop after that silver medal for Germany that she got to carry the flag. That special moment.
It is time for the free coup to launch the competition.
Yes, big support for India today. They'll make a lot of noise, they always do. Shooting is so popular in the country of India. Here is Avani Lakhara, 22 years old, has achieved so much already. A gold medalist in the R2. That was in the 10 metres at the Tokyo Paralympic Games. Here's Natasha Hiltrop of Germany, now 32 years old, gold medalist in the R3. That was the 10-metre prone at the last Paralympics. Lee Yun-ri, the world record holder at her 5th Paralympic Games, 49 years old. 36-year-old Zhang Chuping, the Paralympic record holder from People's Republic of China.
Please welcome a legend, 10-time Paralympian, winning 17 gold medals. He is the only athlete to have won the Games 9 times in a row, Paralympics and Olympics combined.
Anna Benson of Sweden, only started in the sport in 2018 and comes in as the current world champion. Here's Marina Shetnik, who's just so good across all the disciplines and could go very well and vie for a medal here today. Natalie Smith, 49 years old, in her 4th Paralympic Games representing Australia. And now, arguably right now, the most famous name in Paralympic shooting sports, Veronika Vadavichova. 7 Paralympic medals, including 5 golds, a former world champion at this event R8, and 7 World Championship gold medals. So the Chief Range Officer has called start for the preparation and sighting time. So this is a 3 positions final, which means the first 3 series of 5 shots are in the kneeling position, and the next 3 series are in the prone position, and then we have 2 series of 5 shots in the standing position. And after shot 40, 8th and 7th place will be eliminated at once. And then single shots right through to decide the gold medal, so no room for error. Heather, you know all about pressure when it comes to performing on the world stage. How did you used to cope whenever you were competing yourself?
Well, shooting for us was always the first discipline of the day, which I quite like because you could stay kind of in a sort of meditative state almost. I was never been a morning person, and that quite suited shooting early in the morning. And I mean, obviously these athletes have to get into that zone at whatever time their final happens to be.
So here's an example of one of the rifles that's used. It's sort of a typical example. They are customizable, you can change them. The rifle butt at the back, for example, the colouring even. These rifles are heavier than the ones used in the 10 metres. These are up to 8 kilos, whereas in the 10 metres the rifles weigh up to 5.5. So these are long bore rifles. There's actually no restriction on the barrel length either, but obviously most come in at a certain length for that optimum shooting ability when you're firing at that target 50 metres away. And just to let you know that the centre of the ring, the 10 ring on the target 50 metres away is 10.4 millimetres wide. So it's a good job they have these finals in the afternoon then, Heather, as we're both not morning people. After my 10 years of doing radio in the UK in the mornings, 10 years was enough. It's now time to do things in the afternoons, I can tell you.
Well, I must admit, as much as we shot in the morning, my swim training was normally at 5:30 in the morning, so you know, it wasn't necessarily the right way around, and competition day was far better.
Well, it's nice to get that insight into what goes on when you're competing at world level, because of course you watch finals, you don't see everything else that goes on at qualification earlier on today, for example.
Getting ready now to do battle for the all-important medals. The SH1
Anna Benson of Sweden was top of qualification alongside Veronika Vadoviceva in second place. And then Zhang Chuping, the Paralympic record holder, was in third. So will those top three bring that form into this final? And that's how they line up.
Those series, the 5 shots will be
interesting to see the average ages as well. Shetnik, who's already achieved so much at 24. To those of you who watch a lot of parachuting sport, you think that Arina Shetnik had been around for as long as some of the others, alongside Avani Lakara of India. Well, this is going to be a fascinating final. We've got some real names in this, real top quality. If this is the first time you've seen a 3-position final or a shooting parasport final, then you've dropped in on the right one. And it's because of the 3 positions and the strengths that the athletes have in certain positions that makes everything so fascinating. As we have the world record holder, the Paralympic record holder, the current world champion, and the current Paralympic champion as well in this one. It really is a world-class field.
Well, it's brilliant to see that. Sometimes the qualifications can throw curveballs. People have issues or pressure just gets them. They don't bring their A game, and we don't always see the favourites making it into a final. So we are really spoiled with this selection of 8 world-class shooters. 4, 5, 7.9. It makes for a more exciting competition because the pressure, the smallest of margins will be separating those medals at the end of the day. If you are new to this 3-position competition, well, you'll see that the positions can change, as in the rankings, I should say, rather than the positions. You might be getting confused with the shooting positions, just as some athletes will be stronger in prone, some might be stronger in kneeling, and then those who are stronger in standing hope that they've done enough so that they can really excel in that final position that we'll see throughout this competition.
The Chateau Shooting Centre. We are 10 seconds away from the R8 final getting started. Paralympic medals up for grabs. Here we go.
Stop and look. For the first competition series, load.
So that's the load command, and the athletes must wait to hear it, and then they must wait for the start command, and then they can get underway. So the targets on your screen are in shades of green. The targets for the athletes are black and white and illuminated 50 metres away. And the centre ring is 10.4 millimetres. Yes, that's millimetres wide, and this is a precision sport. It just gives you an idea of how difficult it is. So the athletes, some in wheelchairs, some sitting on stools. So this is the kneeling position, which means there's only one elbow allowed on the table rest. And some athletes, when they have their classification examination, are allowed to have a little bit more back support than some others. So all that's taken into consideration before they then go into their classification, and this is the SH1. So this is for athletes with lower limb impairment.
That's the reigning world champion on the left-hand side of your screen. Currently focusing on, as she is focusing on her sights. You can see the foresight, that side closest to the camera. It's a matter of lining that up with the back side, the one closest to the athlete's eye, and then having that all in line with your chosen target point on the target. And athletes will have different areas in which they aim at, but their sights are then adjusted so that that aiming point hopefully gives them a group like we're seeing from Bedovic-Gavet.
Meanwhile, Hiltrot with a 10.9. That's the highest score you can get on an individual shot. That is the dead center of the target. So you can see the athletes wearing suits as well. That provides extra stability. Now the strap there on Irina Shetnik's shoulders, what's known as a prone strap, and that'll be adjusted when it comes to the prone position. And the athletes also wear underlayers as well, which have areas of stiffness as well to help them breathe underneath their suits as well, and let their skin breathe as well as their own breathing movement. And of course, that's crucial when it comes to shooting. Breathing under control, heart rate under control, and that's just the physical side. Mental concentration required as well. So that's the first series over, and we'd expect now any score over 50 to be a world leader, and indeed, we have three athletes all tied on 51.1. This is what fascinates me about decimal scoring. You have 5 shots, and what are the chances of even 2 athletes being tied for the lead? And already we have 3.
It is tight out there.
And this is what will build the excitement as this final continues. And as Heather was saying a few seconds ago, with certain athletes being stronger in certain positions, there really will be some drama developing before us. So this is the second series of 5 shots to take us to shot 10.
Start.
Well, it gives you an idea of just what small margins are separating the athletes at the top. Such a small margin for error. But we say that, we can see all change in the order. We move on to the prone position. So the kneeling sits somewhere in the middle, so to speak, with what we might expect to see from the scores. The prone position, well, I have both elbows on the table, give them more support, therefore we expect to see higher scores, and then it all comes down to the standing, where there's obviously less stability, and therefore we can see more disruption, so to speak, in the medal table and the position table.
Per series in the kneeling position, the athletes are given 200 seconds or 3 minutes 20 if you prefer. Sounds like a lot of time, but if you do the maths on that, even if you were to take 5 shots and use the full 200, you have to be shooting every 40 seconds. So the athletes do have to get a move on. It sounds like a long time, but if you ever give rifle shooting a go, and I urge you to, if you like what you're seeing, get on the internet, look up your local club and tell them you've seen it at the Paralympics and you'd like to give it a go. And you'll have a lot of fun. There's a lot of pressure that comes with it too.
I like the fact that Benson has a cut-out paper target that looks as though she's laminated as her eye patch. Now, you'll see some athletes have eye patches, some don't. Some have opaque ones, some have eye patches they can see through, and it's all a matter of experimentation. And sometimes a theory behind having an eye patch that lets light in, it keeps your pupils more similar, so more dilated, so able to focus on the sights with the open eye. Some athletes can actually just naturally close one eye, but then you have to be careful that it doesn't actually put too much tension in your face, because it's all about being relaxed as well. And interesting if you start to watch all the different approaches and the different kit and positions that each of these shooters have adopted.
Stop.
The second series in the kneeling position is over. Can't go back in time, we can only go forward. And that's two cracking series from Zhang Quping to be up to 101.3. That first series was 51.1.
Ties as things stand. We had 5 athletes tied after series 1, leading the way.
And that last series,
50.2.
So Natalie Smith of Australia at her 4th Paralympic Games, currently in 2nd position. Veronika Vadovičová of Slovakia in 3rd. Now this is the next series in the kneeling position. Another 5 shots for the athletes.
Series, load.
And another 200 seconds will begin once we hear start from Christian Baillet, the Chief Range Officer. There it is.
We just have that close-up of what looks like a golf ball on the rifle. And you'll see that these weapons or these rifles are so customized, and some athletes opting for something that's really large and easy. So when it does come to having to be relatively quick, like we're always talking about with your loading, just makes it that much easier to get hold of, be able to move it out of the way and to load. And you've got to make sure that you're loading correctly, as if it goes in the wrong direction, you can end up with a jam in your rifle, and that can be quite serious. Really taking her time, and this shows experience when, if you're not quite happy with your lineup, sometimes athletes try to adjust it, but it's often really great to just take a breath, move your head away, whatever it is, just sort of reset, whatever it takes for you to reset and get out of that. Sometimes you can almost get into a bit of a cycle and think, oh, just squeeze the trigger, it's going to be okay, I'm going to find that right moment. But once you're in a sort of bad place, or just things aren't quite feeling like the rhythm is there, being brave enough to say, okay, I've got time, I'm going to just reset, start again. It's usually worth it. Well, this you see less often when the actual eye cover is attached to the rifle itself as opposed to the headgear. And the reason most of the athletes are wearing some sort of headgear is to help with that sort of focus of the vision, blocking out distractions. It's almost like a horse with blinkers on. You just want to channel all of that energy, all of that focus into that precise movement that you're doing.
I mean, there's great conditions here in the Chateau shooting centre, because sometimes 3 positions finals can be shot out into the outdoors as well. And of course, wind then starts to affect things. It certainly makes the finals just that little bit more interesting because of the natural way that wind gusts come along. But in some ways, of course, we don't have to worry about that kind of thing being indoors in Chateau. And as Heather was saying, there is just so much when it comes to actually performing at this level in shooting, dealing with the light conditions, the changes from the qualification hall through to the finals hall. It's amazing, really, to think that some of these scores are even being achieved, because the concentration required is just off the scale. So Zhang Quping at the top, 151.5. Avani Lakkar of India on 150.9 in 2nd place. Then just 0.1 behind, Natalie Smith of Australia. Irina Shetnik in 4th. Vadovičová of Slovakia in 5th. Natasha Hiltrop in 6th. Lee Yun-ri of Republic of Korea in 7th. And Anna Benson, the current world champion in this event, the R8, in 8th place. So this is the 7-minute changeover that's allowed between kneeling and prone. So one of the major changes coming up is, as you can see, adjustments that Veronika Vadovičová is making to her suit just to tighten up the non-shooting arm. And adjustments will be made to the sights because your face is in a different position, and also the multi-tools and the Allen keys will just help with adjustments to the butt of the rifle as well. And this is all part and parcel as well of shooting at this level. This is all rehearsed, it's all practiced in training. You've got to get this down, because one of the best advantages about doing it as quickly as you can is that you can then use the remaining minutes up to the 7-minute total to take some sighting shots. Just get a bit of practice in. So you can see the equipment boxes in the background, and that's where the changeover tools are allowed to be kept. Otherwise, when you're out on the shooting range, it's only your suit, yourself, your rifle, and the bullets that are allowed, plus the safety flag, which is a piece of plastic. You'll see that being inserted later whenever our athletes are eliminated from this final. But for now, the clock ticks down and we get ready for the prone position. Another series of 5 shots, 3 times in the prone position, and that'll take us to shot 30. And then there'll be a 9-minute changeover when we move over to standing.
Et on va se retrouver très rapidement pour vous donner quelques petites explications sur ce changement de position. Vous pouvez déjà constater par vous-même l'attitude des tireuses. Celles qui ne sont pas en fauteuil peuvent s'allonger et prendre appui de leurs 2 coudes au sol. Celles qui sont en fauteuil se sont fait poser une tablette devant elles et vont prendre appui avec les 2 coudes pour pouvoir effectuer leur série de 3 tirs sur cette finale. The same explication in English with Jamie.
Thank you, Eric. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am with a legend, not just of this sport, just sport in general. Jonas Jakobsson of Sweden. Let's have a round of applause for Jonas Jakobsson, everybody. Jonas, 10-time Paralympian, representing your country, Sweden. 17 gold medals. Is it possible to pick a favourite?
No, there's a few favorites, yeah. One of those.
If I push you now, can you give me one?
Well, probably the games in Athens where I took all 4 gold medals was probably my favorite.
A clean sweep.
Clean
Favourite
sweep.
games there, Athens 2004. You introduced a competition here, doing La Trois
I did.
Crew. How did the pressure of that compare to competing?
Yeah, there was more pressure on that, yeah. Not as much practice.
Yeah, we put you on the spot, I think, with that, but you did very well with it. Gold medal for that as well. So you're here as a coach for Denmark. How's the experience been here at Paris 2024 so far?
It's been very, very good. I mean, it's a brand new team. They're all here for the first time. First Paralympics for them. We managed to get 4 finals, which is a lot more than what we expected. We got a medal already, so we're extremely happy.
Yeah, and for you personally, are you enjoying the change of scenery in a way, being at a games as a coach rather than an athlete?
Yeah, absolutely. It's I enjoy being a coach and to try to share what I know and also see the athletes grow. It's fantastic.
We've seen a lot of records broken here already at the Paralympic Games. One record that has not been broken, as in a world record in the R7 event, is yours. Still, to this day, you hold the world record in the R7 event, which has been there since 2013.
Yeah, true.
Pretty good, right? Did you ever imagine you would hold a record for so long?
It's good. It's good record. So, but I mean, there's been a lot of good shooters, and Park, who won the R7 today, did a really good match. So there's a lot of good shooters. Yeah.
Well, Jonas, thank you very much for talking to us and for opening the competition with La Trois Crew. Good luck to Team Denmark and, of course, all the teams for the rest of the competition. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the final.
Thank you very much.
Jonas Jakobsson, everybody!
30 seconds.
Chief Range Officer has given the 30-second command, which is a reminder to the athletes that the changeover time is coming to a close. So we're about to get underway with the prone position of this R8 women's 50-metre rifle 3 positions final. This is the SH1 classification, so that's for athletes with lower limb impairment. So the clock changes on this one too, because this is the prone position and both elbows are allowed on the table, as you can see on your screen. The time per series is 150 seconds, and you can see that clock in the top left.
For the next competition series, load.
So there's the load command. You can only load once that's been issued by the Chief Range Officer. He then calls start, and the clock starts ticking as soon as he says that word.
The quicker you are, the more efficient you are at loading. But especially put on yourself that time for each shot, and if you do need to make a correction or just take a reset, you know you can. You don't have to potentially pull that trigger when you're not 100% happy with the way everything is lined up.
This is where we'll start to see some higher scores than we saw in kneeling. We expect a lot more scores closer to the centre. Valovichova, for example, last shot with a 10.8. That's 0.1 off a perfect shot, which is 10.9. Now bear in mind that some of these rifles weigh up to 8 kilos, and pulling the trigger, it's so soft, and it's not until you try it that you realise how little pressure you need to pull the trigger. One false move, as Heather's just been explaining, and you've fired your shot and you can't go back.
Well, it's interesting because there is a legal limit on what the trigger has to hold, so it can only be so light, yet you can obviously make it heavier than that, but on the whole, you want it as light as that so that you can, it's always called squeezing the trigger. That's how coaches always talked about. You don't pull it, because if you think in your head of a pull or a squeeze, you automatically think squeeze just sounds more gentle. It just sort of feels more gentle, and you want such minimal movements, and if you can think of squeezing that trigger, it's almost a constant movement, and you don't, as soon as the shot's fired, you don't let go. You carry on squeezing it so that you just become ingrained in just that smooth, fluid movement. But it wasn't criticism of your terminology there, Rory, because yes, you are pulling the trigger. It's just a terminology used by the coaches when coaching an athlete.
Valovichova is having a great series so far, and has now gone to the top of the scoreboard, 202.5. Valovichova's last single shot was a 10.7, and now 202.5. And Zhang Chuping, the Paralympic record holder, 201.8 in second place, with Avani Lakara, 22 years old, representing India, who's the first Indian woman to claim 2 Paralympic medals, is currently in the bronze medal position. So shot 21 is coming up, and that's the beginning of the next 5-shot series to take us to shot 25.
Stop.
Nick with an interesting cutout. I think that's very much custom made herself. It looks as though she's got stitching that goes around that cutout to be able to really block out as much distraction and as much sort of external factors when you're in the position. It's kind of just locking into you and your sights, thinking of nothing else. And very simple, but sometimes just the brain is so naturally distracted and so busy. You've got to just come into a calm space. And Lakara actually spent a lot of time working on that. She does yoga. She spent a lot of time with mental exercises, as well as realizing the importance of being physically fit. So she does a lot of training out in her wheelchair as well.
current world champion in R8 on your left. Natascha Hiltrop of Germany on the right of your screen. Gold medalist in Tokyo in the R3. That's the 10-metre event in prone. She also has 7 World Championship silver medals and 4 World Championship bronze medals. She also took the silver medal in Tokyo for Germany in the R8. That's this event. And the silver medal in Tokyo in the R3, the 10-metre prone. So Natalie Smith with a decent shot, 10.4. You'd want them really at least at that level in the prone position. And certainly the athletes, if they score a 10.6 or higher, that's more in the sweet spot of where they'll be happy. You want to keep the shots in the 10s, because with the standing position coming up after the next series, that's when things really start to change in terms of the scoreboard. So Zhang Quping now takes the lead. Veronika Vadovichova, who was leading, is in second position, tied with Natascha Hiltrop of Germany. Both those athletes on 254.0 and Zhang Quping on 254.2. So it's only a difference of 0.2. It's so close. And now one more series of 5 shots in the prone position to take us to 30 shots.
Start.
Some dramatic changes we saw there. Natalie Smith was up in medal contention. Still relatively early days, but dropped down to 7th after that last series. Still plenty of time to recover from that though, and a 10.4 will hopefully be keeping her in contention.
Natascha Hiltrop with a 10.9. That's the perfect score in terms of this discipline and events, both across 50 metres and 10 metres.
Neat and tidy indeed for Benson. Lee with a bit of a group, but finding it slightly high. Just one of those shots actually outside of the 9 ring. Not what we might expect to see in the more precise of the 3 positions.
A 9.3 from Natalie Smith, which again is really going to affect her chances. Been slipping down the scoreboard in 7th at the moment as this series draws to a close.
Stop and load. 9 minutes, changeover and sighting time. Start.
So the 9-minute clock is already ticking, and Natascha Hiltrop of Germany leads the way on 307.1. So 1.2 gap from Veronika Vadovichova in second place. And in third position, Zhang Quping of People's Republic of China on 304.3. So there's only one athlete below 300, and that's Li Yunri, who is the world record holder in this event.
2024. It's been a great position.
She's on 298.5.
All the way to the top now.
Meanwhile, Natalie Smith starts the 300 marker. She's on 300.7. Ivani Lakara in 6th place on 301.5. Marina Shetnik of Ukraine in 5th on 303.3, and just 0.5 in front is the current world champion Anna Benson of Sweden on 303.8. In the top 3, Zhang Yuping, 304.3. Veronika Valovichova in 2nd place on 305.9. And Natasha Hiltrop leading the way for Germany on 307.1. So more adjustments being made to the rifle, to the sights, to the butt at the back. You can just see now Veronika Valovichova just moving those sights along, because we go to the standing position and your face is in a different position than it would have been in prone. You can see the butt of the rifle now being changed for Lee Yunri. And then once they're ready to get into the standing position, we have 2 series of 5 shots. And that'll take us to shot 40. And then it's single shots through to shot 45 to decide the medals and the eliminations. And the different thing about the 3 positions final is that 2 athletes go at once to begin with. So after 40 shots, 8th and 7th place will leave the final. So there's then just no room for error, because each elimination comes after single shots. And the quicker you can get on with things, then the more time you have to take some sighting shots. And you can use a rifle rest in the standing position, and the rules are that the rifle rest must be no higher than your shoulder.
Voilà, on se retrouve encore pendant quelques instants pour vous apporter quelques précisions sur ce qui se passe derrière nous avec ce changement de position. On passe sur la position debout. Ceux qui sont en fauteuil roulant, eh bien, vont rester dans leur fauteuil roulant.
So we'll just look back at the kneeling position, and then in a few moments' time we'll get on with the standing position. 2 series of 5 shots coming up before the eliminations.
Et puis on va pouvoir aussi vous offrir avec Jamie quelques cadeaux. Jamie, some information about the rules.
Yeah, thank you, Eric. Hello again, everybody. So we've completed the kneeling position, the prone position. It's just the standing position now in our trilogy of positions. So our athletes are preparing for 2 series of 5 shots in the standing, followed by 5 single shots. We have 45 shots in total in this final. So shot 45, unless we need a shoot-off, will decide the gold medal here at the Paralympic Games, Paris 2024. Now, if you were here for the last final, the R7, you might remember that we conducted a very exciting and hard-hitting quiz. So we have some shooting sports related pin badges. Robbie, my favourite and only floor manager, can you just hold them up so people get excited? Oh yeah, we have excitement from at least 3 people for the pin badges. We have some questions. If you answer the questions correctly, you can take away a pin badge. Would anybody like to answer a question and maybe win a pin badge? Hands up if you would like to have a go.
Qui veut jouer? Qui veut gagner un pins? Ah, très bien.
Young man, could you come and join me
from Australia.
over here, please?
A fan of Australia.
So everybody can play along. I am going to read out the question in English. Eric will translate in French. French? I think I said it right.
Yeah.
Thanks. Hello, what's your name and where are you from?
Smith, and I'm from Australia.
Daniel Smith from Australia. Yeah, there's a few clues that you might be from Australia based on the clothes that you're wearing. I recognise that surname. Are you here to see someone in particular?
Yeah.
Who might that be?
My mum.
Mom, wow! Well, good luck to your mom in this final, and good luck to you now, okay? You ready for this? I'm going to ask you a question. I'll give you some options for the answers, but first of all, the question is, how many times has France hosted the Summer Paralympic Games? Here's some options for you. Is it 1, 2, or Dua Lipa?
I remember I had this question in my homework for school, and I think it's 2.
Are you sure?
You want to translate the question, Eric, in French? I don't want to, I'm in an awkward position here because I don't want to go against your homework. So let's just say that is the right answer, everybody. Well done, Daniel. You get a pin badge. Congratulations. Robbie here will give you a choice of pin badges. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the final. Good luck to your mum as well. Sorry, Eric, I didn't give you a chance to translate that last one, but don't worry, and well done again. Okay, one more question. Would anybody...
Oula, tout là-haut.
Okay, I'm going to do a quick one here, then I'm going to come over to you guys there, okay? All right, so... Can you tell me, first of all, your name and where you're from?
Frida from Sweden, obviously.
Frida from Sweden, here is your question. I will allow Eric to translate it this time. Here is the question. I will give you some options as well, but first the question. Which of the following is one of the 4 Paralympic values? Eric, translate please.
Voilà, laquelle de ces 4 devises fait partie des devises des Jeux paralympiques? Le courage, la détermination, l'inspiration ou l'égalité? In English also.
Your options for answers are trust, equality, or there's something going wrong here. It says Dua Lipa again.
I'm going with equality.
Equality is right. It is one of the 4 Paralympic values, along with courage, determination, and inspiration. Thank you. You get a pin badge. Robbie will come to you now. I've got a quick get over there. Step count. This is good for the step count. I'm going to start asking the question now to save some time. This is the final question. The final pin badge up for grabs. Which of the following locations hosted the first Winter Paralympic Games? Eric, translate please.
Oui, je vais traduire le temps que tu arrives jusqu'à notre joueuse. Quel fut le premier lieu à accueillir les premiers Jeux paralympiques d'hiver?
Okay, first of all, can I get both of your names? Because you're going to do this together and share the pin badge somehow. I'm from France. And your name? Charles. Charles, and you are a volunteer here. And your name? Catherine. Okay, you heard the question. Here are some options. Which location hosted the first Winter Paralympic Games? A. I'm sorry, Sweden, in advance. I'm doing my best here. Ormskoldsvik, Sweden. B. Death Valley, California. Or C. Chateau, France.
A.
You're going with A, somewhere in Sweden. Is that your final answer? Yes. It's the right answer, ladies and gentlemen. Ormskoldsvik, Sweden, hosted the first Winter Paralympic Games in 1976. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the final.
Seconds.
Chief Range Officer Christian Bayet of France gives the 30-second reminder to the athletes that the changeover from prone to standing is coming to an end. So that will be the 9-minute limit. 10 seconds to go. And then we'll prepare for the 2 series in the standing positions. And this is where we'll see some shots, maybe go over into the 8 and 9 rings. Some, of course, will stay in the 10s. Some athletes are stronger in the standing position than others. Anna Benson, for example, of Sweden, always shoots really well standing. Natasha Hiltrop also can be very good. And then there's Veronika Vadovic right to the far right of your screen. And Arina Shetling. All of them, really, but there are just some who just perform in this particular series of standing better than some others. So let's see how this unfolds. Natasha Hiltrop of Germany is leading at the moment on 307.1. It's a 1.2 gap between Veronika Vadovic in second place and then Zhang Quping on 304.3 in third. There's no tables in this phase of the final because it's standing, but the athletes do have the rifle rests.
It does just mean a little bit more readjusting after every time you load, and you want to just find that exact same position. And it sounds obvious, obviously your hand's going to be in the same place and your cheek resting in the same place, but there's still such minute changes which you'll note when you spend so many hours a day for years and years, as many of these athletes have, training I'll know what just a tiny difference of movement, if you don't quite have that position right when you pick it up, it'll feel really notable and can affect the final outcome.
Yes, the centre 10 ring of the target, 50 metres away, is 10.4 millimetres wide, and that's just the 10 ring itself. And when you imagine that 50 metres away, it gives you an idea of the millimetres of precision, and sometimes less than that, that Heather's just been describing. So 10.9 from Zhang, the Paralympic record holder and current Paralympic champion in this event from Tokyo, scoring a 10.9 in the standing position, world class. Shake of the head from Valovichova was because of a 9.6. As we said a second ago, the shots will be, some of them coming in the 8 and 9 rings. Some will stay in the 10s. Zhang, for example, with that 10.9, followed that 10.9 with a 10.7. She was in 3rd position coming in to this first series in the standing position.
Always a relief once you finish your 5 series, yet then if you know there's still a few athletes left to shoot, you just have to sit and wait and hope that you've done enough in a moment when we get to this knockout point of the competition.
So
the first series of 5 shots is completed in the standing position, and a hush descending around the Chateau shooting centre. That's certainly the quietest it's been since this final began. It's a long final and it's drawing to a conclusion. We have one more series of 5 shots. Hilltop of Germany still at the top, 356.4, now only 0.4 in front of Valovichova. So when you consider that 9.6 that the Slovakian shot, that could have all been so different. Valovichova could have been leading. Meanwhile, Zhang Chuping of People's Republic of China in 3rd, Anna Benson, the world champion, in 4th, Shetnik of Ukraine in 5th, Lakara of India in 6th, Lee of the Republic of Korea in 7th place, and Natalie Smith of Australia in 8th place. So this is the final series of 5 shots in the standing. This will take us to shot 40 and the eliminations of 8th and 7th place at once.
I expect to hear a little more input from the crowd as it gets to that crucial knockout stage. I haven't seen any real wayward shots, as we talked about earlier, of how just classy, how many medals have been won out of all of these 8 athletes, and it is quite phenomenal, and it's really showing in how tight this competition is as it's unfolding. And to say there's so many medalists in this field when we've got a 22-year-old here in Vani Lakara, the bronze medalist from 3 years ago as a teenager. The other end of the experience spectrum, Vodichova, also with her own Paralympic medals.
There was another shot in the 9 ring for Veronica, 9.6. There are some more shots in the 9s coming in. A little bit of fatigue kicking in. It's a long final, it's a long day. There's qualification before this, and then the final itself. These 3 position finals normally around 50, 55 minutes, give or take, in total length. And they're the longest of the parachuting sport disciplines as well. So just a few more shots to go. And Natalie Smith on 376.6 in her 4th Paralympic Games.
You could say that standing potentially her favoured of the 3 positions. Does have a bronze from the 10-metre event all the way back in London 12 years ago.
So Smith has 2 shots left, this one and then another, before the clock completes its countdown. And that was a 9.7. Now Natalie has just over a minute to take her last shot. Valoviceva's last shot was a 9.7. Still in 2nd place at the moment. Natasha Hiltrop of Germany has been in front since we came into the standing position and remains there as it stands. So our first eliminations, and it'll be Natalie Smith of Australia and Lee Eun-ri of Republic of Korea who will leave this final in 8th and 7th place respectively.
La 8e position, on va aller du côté de la représentante de l'Australie, Natalie Smith.
Ladies and gentlemen,
so Natalie Smith of Australia,
Paralympic Games representing Australia,
at her 4th Paralympic Games.
Smith. She is a 4-time Paralympian competing in a 4th final at the Paralympic Games.
Et pour la 7e position, la représentante de la République de
So Natalie's family are here in the crowd. We heard from her son earlier as the announcer spoke to him in between the prone and standing changeover. And Natalie Smith finishes 8th in the Paralympic Games final. And yes, Natalie, you should be delighted with that. To get the whole way here to Paris, make it through a long qualification, because it did go on earlier. And now Natalie Smith is 8th at her 4th Paralympic Games in the R8 final. Meanwhile, here's Lee Eun-ri, waves to the camera,
Dennis Benson of Sweden in 4th, and in the new
finishes in 7th position for Republic of Korea. So now 6 athletes left. Irina Shetnik's in 6th place, but she's only 0.7 behind Ivani Lakara. So the two 20-year-olds, Lakara 22, Shetnik 24 years old, are now up against each other as Anna Benson, the current world champion, is on 402.2. Unlikely to be caught unless Anna has a disastrous shot, but the next elimination between these two, Shetnik of Ukraine and Lakara of India. Or 10.6 from Lakara, which means that Shetnik can't keep up. No matter what she hits, at 10.5, it means Irina Shetnik of Ukraine will leave this final in 6th place.
Et pour sa 3e finale sur ces Jeux Paralympiques Paris 2024, la 6e position pour la représentante de l'Ukraine. Les applaudissements pour Irina Shetnik.
Taking his 6th place, representing Ukraine, make some noise for Irina Shetnik.
So Shetnik inserts her safety flag into the rifle. And those are the rules, and you've got to follow those commands right up until these moments.
So we have 5 athletes remaining.
A nice wave to the crowd, and 24-year-old Irina Shetnik, who's achieved so much across the world of parachuting sport, including 2 bronze medals at Tokyo, both in the standing and the prone positions. She also had a silver medal at the World Championships in LA. And 7 World Championship medals to her name, so leaves this final in 6th. And I think today expected more. So 5 left. Veronika Valovichova of Slovakia is in the current gold medal position. Hiltrop of Germany in 2nd. Zhang of People's Republic of China in 3. Anna Benson, the world champion, in 4th. And Ivana Lakari in 5th.
Stop.
Et vous avez compris le principe, tous les tirs maintenant.
So it's confirmed that Lakara will now leave the final in 5th. Final total of 420.6.
Sur l'épreuve de 10 mètres, médaille de bronze à Tokyo, elle prendra cette année la 5e place. La représentante de l'Inde, Avani Lekara. Les applaudissements.
5th place at Paris 2024, representing India, goes to Avani Lekara.
And she's the first Indian woman to claim 2 Paralympic medals. Not a medal today, but a big achievement nonetheless to leave in 5th place in this Paralympic final. It's a grueling event, the 3 positions. And now we have 4 athletes left. The world champion, Anna Benson of Sweden, in 4th. Zhang of People's Republic of China in 3rd. Hiltrop of Germany in 2nd. And Valovichova of Slovakia is currently in the gold medal position. So 50 seconds is the allocation per single shot in standing. Valovichova only 0.6 in front. This next shot to decide 4th.
Well, this is that real nail-biting moment, isn't it? When you're so close to the podium. 4 athletes, 3 medals. After this next shot, 3 of them will know that they are guaranteed a medal. Sometimes it's at these points in the competition that you do see those more wayward shots as that added pressure. The realization of what the next shot could mean. Benson kept her cool with a 10.1.
Stop.
But she's going to have to wait to see if that's enough.
So the world champion now leaves this Paralympic final. Last shot was a 10.1. And the gap was too big. But Anna Benson, big cheers from the Swedish crowd who have come here in their numbers. And amazing to think that not only is Anna Benson the current world champion, so she still has that. She only started the sport in 2018 and now has finished 4th in a Paralympic final in Paris at the Chateau shooting centre. So we have the medalists. Zhang Qiping of People's Republic of China, Natasha Hiltrop and Veronika Valovichova. 0.4 between 3rd and 2nd. And quite a sizable gap for Veronika Valovichova at the top.
0.4 and then a 1.4. But standing, as we've seen, is the discipline with the most variety in what we're seeing from the scores. Actually, at this pressured end of this women's final. Early shot by Valovichova. Wanted to get it away. Look at that from Hiltrop.
That's going to be a guaranteed bronze medal then for Zhang Qiping. Because it's impossible now for her to eclipse that, even with a 10.6. The gap was 0.4, so even to take it to a shoot-off, she needed a shot that was at least 0.4 higher than Natasha Hiltrop. But People's Republic of China have a bronze medal in this Paralympic final. And it's Zhang Qiping, the Paralympic record holder.
China goes to Zhang Qiping.
And amazing, really. In London, Rio and Tokyo was the gold medalist in this event and has come to another R8 final. and has claimed the bronze medal to add to those 3 gold medals in former Paralympic Games.
Now going head to head. We just saw it.
So the gap at the top is 1.1.
Who's still in second place.
So Hiltrop really, if she's to stand a chance of gold, needs an absolute disastrous shot from Veronika Vadovičová. And Vadovičova's last shot was a 9.5. Hiltrop's last shot was a 10.8.
Who becomes the new
so it could happen.
Champion.
For the next competition, shot low.
50 seconds now to decide the Paralympic gold medal.
Start.
We saw Vadovičová getting her shot off really early in that last round. It didn't help her, 9.5. It'll take a little bit more time for what will be guaranteed her final shot.
So the gap is 0.1. Hiltrop only needs a 9.6, and it gets a 9.9, and it's all changed round. So it was a 0.1 gap. I think I said 1.1 earlier, so apologies for that. But Natascha Hiltrop of Germany has just become the Paralympic champion in the R8 women's 50-metre rifle 3 positions.
Came down to the final shot.
And that just shows you the excitement of shooting, and when it gets to the standing position, things can change round.
Natascha Hiltrop.
And Hiltrop is announced as the gold medalist and the Paralympic champion. Vadovičova's shot was a 9.4. So Hiltrop just needed a 9.6 or more, managed to get a 9.9. I think at the time she wasn't sure if it was enough, and it just changed over on that final shot. Natascha Hiltrop of Germany is the Paralympic champion, adds that gold medal at Tokyo in the R3, which is the 10-metre prone, and the silver medal that she claimed in Tokyo in this very event. So it's upgraded to gold today. Veronika Vadovičová of Slovakia with the silver medal, and Zhang Chuping, the Paralympic record holder,
the silver medal
takes the bronze medal.
Slovakia goes to Veronika Vadovičová.
So Vadovičová announced as the bronze medalist.
Gold medal here at Paris 2024. With this silver here today, she is now an 8-time medalist at the Games. This was her 19th Paralympic final. So it's silver for Vadovičová.
Voilà, merci de rester avec nous d'ici une petite dizaine de minutes. Nous allons pouvoir procéder à la cérémonie des médailles. On a eu une finale de très haut niveau.
Natascha Hiltrop 3 years ago was the silver medalist in the R8 women's 50-metre 3 positions. The SH1 category is now upgraded to gold 3 years later, and I think is absolutely relieved and exhausted, but she'll be able to take it in a few moments' time with the medal ceremony, hearing her own national anthem. For Veronika Vadovičová, who led this competition at certain times, just in the standing position, too many shots in the 9 ring, but a silver medal at the Paralympic Games to add to the 7 Paralympic medals she already has, including 5 golds. And then on the right, Zhang Chuping for People's Republic of China takes the bronze medal. Heather, your thoughts on that 3P final that we've just witnessed?
I think it just shows, doesn't it, how the positions can change right up until the last minute, and that's what we love about shooting. This knockout format just keeps us guessing until the end. And what an outcome for Natascha Hiltrop, getting 1 place higher than 3 years ago in this event.
So it's nice to see all the medalists and even the athletes who finished outside the medals congratulating each other. That is the Paralympic spirit right there in front of you.
Rank is 6th.
Mesdames et messieurs, la cérémonie des vainqueurs de l'épreuve R8 50 mètres carabine 3 positions femmes, catégorie SH1.
Ladies and gentlemen, the victory ceremony for the R8 Women's 50-meter rifle 3 positions SH1 event.
Veuillez accueillir les médaillés.
Please welcome the medalists.
This is the victory ceremony for the women's 50-meter rifle 3 positions SH1 classification. As the athletes being led out by the presentation party.
Les médailles sont remises par
The medals will be presented by
Monsieur Ferrol Van Hoven, vice-président du comité technique du World Shooting Power Sport.
Vice Chairperson of the World Shooting Parasport Technical Committee.
Accompagné par
Accompanied by
Monsieur Michel Georgeon, vice-président de Chateau Métropole.
Vice President of Chateau Metropole.
Médaille de bronze, représentant la République populaire de Chine.
Bronze medalist representing the People's Republic of China, Zhang Chuping.
Zhang Chuping, the current Paralympic record holder, taking the bronze medal for People's Republic of China. It was gold for her in Tokyo. She also took gold in Rio and London, and has now another Paralympic medal. What an achievement, and it's bronze.
Médaille d'argent, représentante de la Slovaquie.
Silver medalist representing Slovakia, Veronika Vadovichova.
Veronika Vadovichova has achieved so much in the world of parachuting sport. 7 Paralympic medals, 5 of them gold, and that's now become 8 Paralympic medals. As Ferrol Van Hoven puts the silver medal around Veronika's neck. And her Paralympic record book just continues. Representing Slovakia, Veronika Vadovichova is the silver medalist.
Médaillée d'or et championne paralympique, représentante de l'Allemagne.
Gold medalist and Paralympic champion representing Germany, Natascha Hiltrop.
Natascha Hiltrop of Germany steps up to take the gold medal and the title of Paralympic champion. 3 years ago in Tokyo, she was silver medalist in this event, and 3 years on has made the upgrade. Natascha Hiltrop, 32 years old, representing Germany, is the Paralympic champion and gold medalist. And in a few moments, she'll get to hear her own national anthem of Germany. Took the gold medal on the final shot, and that's how it can switch around so quickly in shooting. That's what makes it so exciting. And now for the anthem of Germany.
Mesdames et messieurs, si vous le pouvez, veuillez vous lever pour l'hymne de l'Allemagne.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand if you are able for the anthem of Germany.
Natascha Hiltrop of Germany, 32 years old, a silver medalist in Tokyo 3 years ago.
Ladies and gentlemen,
has now upgraded to become the Paralympic champion in the R8, the women's 50-metre rifle, 3 positions, SH1. I mean, Natascha had a gold medal in Tokyo in the R3, that was in the prone. But now to come here 3 years later and take a gold medal in the R8, just, well, it was a brilliant final, and it all switched round on the last shot. So Hiltrop of Germany with the gold, Vadovičeva of Slovakia with the silver, and Zhang Quping of People's Republic of China took the bronze medal. A massive sigh of relief at the end for Natascha Hiltrop after a long and grueling final. It all switched round on the last shot. Silver became gold for Natascha Hiltrop of Germany, Veronika Vadovičeva for Slovakia with the silver, and Zhang Quping of People's Republic of China with the bronze.